So, thank you so much, Smita and Pune Tech community, for giving me the platform to share my knowledge. And without further ado, I would like to kickstart today's session, which is around document intelligence model. And now, why did I choose the topic? Because ideally, we live in the world where AI is there are few things which AI can do it for us. Then why not we leverage those functionalities and try to consume that into our use case. Let's say, for an example, I have few documents, right? And maybe there is a set of user or a vertical which deal with documents a lot, and they have to do that process manually. Now, with the help of AI, probably this will add on one helping hand to them, so that they can just add the documents to the model, and model can give back some important information which can be used in multiple cases, right? So I'm going to talk about document intelligence model. I will go to the Azure portal, create a document intelligence model, and we'll try to use the pre-built models. And if you have custom scenario, then how you can go ahead and create the custom ones as well. And how do you integrate, like if there is a need where you want to use this document intelligence, how you can integrate with different services in Microsoft stack itself. So that is the today's topic. And uh, Smita already gave a good introduction about me, so I will just take one moment to introduce myself. So I am Shrushti Shah, and I work as a technical consultant at Rapid Circle, and I have close to 7 years of work experience. I worked on almost all the Microsoft 365 stack, including SharePoint, Microsoft Teams, Power Platform, and I also work on Azure and some bits and pieces of Azure AI infrastructure as a code. And definitely, I think now everyone has to upskill to AI. So it's good time to just start learning. I'm also very active in community. I write blogs, but I'm not writing it very frequently. But I do take sessions where you can just join in and you can just skill up yourself if there is something. Uh, Smita, I think someone unmuted.
Yes, I muted all.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. So I always keep very short slides because I don't believe that you try to read the content and then you just gain what exactly it is. You can find the documentation. There is a very good documentation provided by Microsoft, but we are here today to learn something. So I always keep the almost 80% of my time for demonstration. But I would just like to introduce document intelligence. Now, document intelligence is kind of an AI service which you can either create in Azure, or there are also, like, some, as I mentioned, there are pre-built models. You can create the custom model as well. But now when I talk about document intelligence, there is another sector in Power Platform where you can use that same concept. There are also some pre-built AI models in Power Platform which you can easily leverage. You don't have to train them, and you can also create a custom one. So this is one of the integration where you can find the integration of AI in the space of Power Platform. But let's say you have the custom requirement where you're building websites or anything, and that is a third party tool, which is your solely your tool, and you want to leverage this AI solution, how you can do that. So document intelligence or Azure AI provides the endpoints as well, which you can directly leverage. All you need is endpoint and key-based authentication. Once you create this service, you have that endpoint, you pick up that key and fit in C sharp code or Python, whichever you are well versed with. So you can now, when I talked about document intelligence, uh, consider an example of invoice. Let's say I want to, the simple example of expenses, right? We every day, every month, we want to calculate the expenses, how much we spend in this month. Now, maybe you have a note or a document where you keep noting those all things in a probably in a tabular format, or simply just bullet points, and you have the column for price which you paid or what you spent on, etc., etc. Now take that document, and now probably it's good that you go to Excel, you find that, and you just calculate the column, and you will find the total how much you spent on. Now, this was a very simple example. On top of this expense, let's say if I want to make some decision, say that, hey, I want to find out in which all categories like food, shopping, or clothing, which category did I spend the most money on, and if I spend something beyond this budget, then please give me an alert or email, something like that. So if some, this is the smallest example and the simplest one which I could elaborate. But document intelligence has really good use cases, like wherein there are business documents which will from which you need to extract some key values or some information. That is where document intelligence come to the picture. Now it is not just restricted to invoice. It can have business cards or contracts or any kind of document. Let's just go ahead and look at it in action. So I am not just going to drill down into what document intelligence provide because we'll check it right in Azure. Okay. So going back to my Azure portal, this is my Azure. What I have to do is, now there are two things. Let me just search for Azure AI services. When to use what is the decision which you have to make based on the business need. Now, when I talk about Azure AI service, if you can see from the left navigation, let me just zoom in a bit so that you all can see it clearly. There are different types of AI services I can leverage right inside one umbrella, which is Azure AI. It can either be Azure OpenAI or Search or Face, Computer Vision, Custom Vision, Language, Bot, etc. These all AI services fall under one hood, which is Azure AI. Now, assume that you have some solution, you have some requirement where you are processing some document, you are translating it, and you are also searching. So I'm doing three things. One is AI search, one is translation, and you are also, I think someone is unmuted in between, but yeah, I will continue. You are dealing with multiple AI solutions at one time. Now, if your requirement is something like that, then please go ahead and create Azure AI service so that it will be helpful for you, that it will you can only use one endpoint, and one endpoint will be used across. Either you create translation, search, anything. You will always be using one endpoint. Now let's say my use case is that I'm only going to deal with document, and I only want to create models or extract data related to document. Then it is advised that you should create the service which is document intelligence. Now for today, I'm not going to create Azure AI because I'm not dealing with multiple AI models right now. I'm just going to create document intelligence. So for that, either you just search document intelligence. You see, I already have one which I created just right before the call. I will just create one to show you what all things you have to fill out. Now, if I just go to document intelligence, what you have to do is definitely you need an active Azure subscription. Now, if you don't have active Azure subscription, if you are a student, then probably you can get some credits. If you are a working professional, then go to Azure, just search in Azure free trial, and you'll land up in the screen. You can just activate the free trial, but for that you need your credit card details. Once you fill in, and then you have your Azure free trial account with you. Okay. Now, I will come to the document intelligence service. Once you have the active subscription, you just go ahead and search for document intelligence. It is going to be created for you in one resource group. So for that, if you don't have a resource group, because all the resources sit inside a group, which is a resource group, and if you don't have, don't mind, you can create a new right from this portal as well. I already have one, so I'll just pick it up and just select the region. Now, let's say I'm right now working for a client which is based out in India, and they like this model is going to run in India, right? So I would go ahead and use the region which is very close to me. If you are working for some client, or if you're creating this for an European region or US region, make sure that you create this resource in that region. I'm going to skip and I'm going to hit Central India. Now name your model. As soon as you start creating it, just name your model. I will just say AI Pune Demo 24. Okay. Once you named it, there are two things which you would have to select here. One is the pricing tier. Now, this is based on the requirement of your business and how huge that model is going to, like, what are the number of documents it is going to process. So as you can see, there is a free version which is F0 and standard S0. These are the two pricing tiers which are available, and you can view this pricing details here. Let's just go ahead and see the pricing details. So these are the pricing details which you can see, right? For intelligence, price per month, average, and what are features it provides. Now, if I go to this pricing section, you can read some description from here as well. 500 pages per month, 20 calls per minute for recognizer. So behind the scenes, when I talk about document intelligence, it is going to use that API, and that API is recognizer API. So it will allow 20 calls per minute. You can just hit 20 API calls in 1 minute, and one call per minute for training. And you can read up to 500 pages per month. This is what F0 provides. Standard, you can call one call per minute for training, and training is like training your model. I will go ahead and select F0, and let's just go to next. Once you are done naming your model, selecting the pricing tier, all you have to do is select the network. Now, maybe this networking, I'm not going to deep dive more into it, but how you're going to use this model and in which network is this lying under private, public, you can just select anything. As of now, I'm just going to go ahead with the simplest use case. I'm going to allow this to be used in all my networks. Once you are done, go to the identity section. Your, if you don't want to assign system managed identity or user managed identity is completely fine. We can skip this. Tags, tags are used because whenever we create some resources, ideally you tag it with who is the resource owner, what kind of pricing this resource is, and for what reason, business justification, you have to name here. Ideally, when you are just doing POC, or maybe if you're working in an organization where there are multiple people working on one subscription and they have multiple resource groups. So how would you identify where your resource is? That is where the tags come into the picture, where you name, provide some tags, and give the tag value through which you will easily be able to identify why this resource was created, so that later you can delete it when it is of no use. So tags, I'm just skipping it. Just hit review and create. Once you are done creating it, it will just take few seconds to create it for you. And you see review and create, there is a template, automation template, and this is showing me some terms and condition, and you can just hit on create. Now I already have one resource which I've created, so I don't want to waste my subscription points over while creating the duplicate one. So I'll go back, I'll pick the one which I've created. I haven't done anything in this, just created the resource. Now if you can see, there is some information which is which resource group it is in, what are the endpoints, key, and another section which we are going to talk about in brief is Document Intelligence Studio. And probably if you want to consume this as part of into your applications and you want to club it with the SDK, then you can use REST API. And if I go and open this REST API, you will find all the APIs related to document intelligence. This is where you find the REST APIs and what all APIs it provides. We can just, yeah, analyze document. One is this is the post request. These are some of the things you can read about it. And this is the request, response, get request, all of these documentation. You can just find it here if you want to consume it in the API endpoint fashion into your code. Right now, we are going to do everything through Studio, which is through Portal. So I'm just going to go to the Azure, this Document Intelligence Studio. Now, a few more information which you will need is the endpoint. So now go to the keys and endpoint section, and here you can see this endpoint. Pick this up, leverage, and in the endpoint, if I just zoom in a bit, this is my resource name, cognitiveservices.azure.com. This is how the endpoint looks like. And it is located in so and so region, and these are the keys which you can use it. Going to the another section, which is Document Intelligence Studio. Now, this is where all the magic happens. In terms of magic, how you take your documents, extract information, what all pre-built models it offers, what all custom models you can create. So this is what you can do it right here in the studio. And just I'm scrolling down a bit to show you all the pre-built models. Now, if you can see that there are few pre-built models like invoices, receipt, documents, like you want to identify which document is of which type, health insurance cards, right? Because at present, if I talk about India or any region, you might deal with multiple type of document. One is your government ID proof, one is the business card, which ideally we share with a few stakeholders, one is the invoices, other is different kind of contracts, like there are few templates for contract, and the taxation documents, it differs from each region to region, mortgage, certificates, all these type, also credit cards is this is new as of now. I just saw read it about few days back, and this is very new, fresh. While you can see these are a few different ones which are tagged as new, these are recently made available as part of document intelligence. Previously, these were the few things like invoices, receipts, business cards, and health insurance was part of it. Now, let's say you have some credit card, or let me just hit a credit card just to show you what it offers. And below you will see there is a section for custom models. Now, let's say I am dealing with a document which is for my organization, and the document is of contracts for contracts. Like for each employee, there are some contracts which are made. So that document is is templatized for my particular organization. And every organization has their own templates, right? They deal with either it can be a business requirement document or any kind of templates which you follow for your organization. So if you have such scenario, then you can go ahead and create custom models. In custom, there are two things which you will find. One is custom extraction and custom classification. Now it is now up to you. Do you want to generate or extract some information from the document, which is custom document? Then you go ahead and create custom extraction model. If you are dealing with what each, like if you are classifying the documents that, hey, these documents are of so and so type for my organization, these documents are clubbed into one thing, then you can go ahead and create custom classification. We will look at how you can create custom extraction model as well. If time permits, I will create it new. If not, then we'll just see the studio, how you can go ahead and create it. Now going to the credit card, let me just sign in, wait till it signs in, and we'll also open the invoice one. Wait for it to load. It's just loading, and I will just quickly show you the different type of invoices, and I have just taken the sample. Open. This is the invoice which we'll read, and this is the business card. So in the invoice, if you can see, let me just zoom in a bit. This is the Contoso invoice, and this is the who is like the owner of this invoice, like it is sold to a toy company. This is the address, this is the ID, at which date, the number of the invoice, like receipt number. And if you scroll down, there is a table where you see what all descriptions for each item which is sold and the discount if there is any discount provided. This was the price. After discounting, this is the line total, and this was the subtotal. And we will just read the information from the document, like this is this invoice. The next example which I've taken is, let me just open that, a business card. Just opening, let's wait. Yes. Now this is the business card of a Contoso, like where this person, Avery Smith, is working in Contoso at some region, and this is the information of that person, designation, mobile number, email ID, etc. Now let's go and check whether our resource is created or not. Okay, I have to authenticate. Let's wait for a second. Not sure why it is not creating. Let's hit refresh, sign in. Okay, give it a minute. Oh, sorry, I'm in the wrong subscription. My bad. Where is my directory? Okay. I am in my directory. Not sure what is taking the wrong one. Switch directory. Okay. Just the current. Yeah, correct. Let's go back and we will just update the directory. It is in the wrong one as of now. I will just try it out. Which, oops, that was your subscription. Why it is taking the one default? Yeah, correct. Let's pick my default. Yeah, switch. Yes. Let it load. And here we are. Let's see whether I'm in the correct place. Did it reload? Yes. Now it should. Sorry for the inconvenience. Yeah. Now we are at the Document Intelligence Studio. Now, whenever you saw that I created one resource, right? But after creating the resource, I have to create one document intelligence where it will, like, where the documents will be placed and the information will be extracted. I'm going to select my resource where it was, and this is the selection. Continue, finish. Now it will open the studio for me. Okay, here we are. Let's just close this pop-up. Loading. And if you can see from the left navigation, there are already few sample invoices right inside the studio. So if you wish to test it before creating or before using this model, then you can do that as well. And maybe ideally you should test it with the document which you need to see whether it is supporting or extracting the information correctly. If it is not generating the information as per your need, then maybe go ahead and create the custom one. Okay. So you can see from the screen the sample. There are different type of sample documents with different layouts. So let's just test that out. Give it a minute to load. I think it is just taking some time. I will close this. Yeah, let's just go here. Taking. And if you can ask me that how I can go ahead and leverage this model as is there any other way or other integration which I can do with? So definitely, I mentioned you can find similar pre-built models right inside your Power Platform. Also, SharePoint offers similar document processing inside SharePoint Syntax, which was renamed to SharePoint Premium. You can do this document processing similar to what we're doing in Azure AI into different services as well. And if you don't know how you can do that in Power Platform, and let's just go and check where you can find it. Maybe till the time it loads, I can just complete that aspect. I will go and yes, go to the Power Platform and inside the make.powerapps.com, you hit more, you will find the AI Hub. It is definitely going to use your Azure Cognitive Services behind the scenes. It is consuming those Cognitive Service API, and you see AI models section here, in which there are different type of models, just like how we saw in Azure AI. You can translate, you can classify, not just limited to documents, but also limited to custom vision, more services which Azure provides. Here there are quite a few. Like if I just hit all, then you can see there are document processing, invoice, text recognition, translation, entity. These are some of the models which you can use. And wherever you see the tag as pre-built, that is where you don't have to train your model. You can just start using this as it is without training it. And if there is written custom, and maybe you have to train it with your documents, tag the information, like tag the key fields which you want to extract, and then you are good to leverage. Now invoice processing is pre-built. So you see these are the some templates of invoices which you were exactly seeing it in the Azure AI Studio as well. And as you can see from the right hand side, that what all information it was able to extract. Now let's see, I want to upload. Okay, it is just giving you don't have enough capacity because I don't have that licensing. But if you want to test it, then you can just upload the new file which you had, and once you are done, you can just start consuming it because this is pre-built one. And how you can consume it? Either pick it up any of your Power Automate flow and Power Apps. There are pre-built connectors which you can use, and you're good to go. You just have to pass the document details. You just have to pick the correct document processing model. So as you can see, I've created one custom document processing model. This was for one use case where I was processing some information from different type of document, not the usual ones. Hence, I had to create the custom one. I can just show you the the model which I created. Maybe if I have the correct license, let me just go and get details. Okay, it is not allowing me. But that is how you can do it. I can go to the Power Flow so that you can understand how you can use that connector till the time it loads. Oh God, this is still loading. Sure, can reload it again.
Is it taking time to process it, Shrushti, or it
Yeah,
is?
I think there is some mismatch of directory which it is trying to find. Let me just go to cancel. I'm in the right directory, but let's just try it one more time. Please go to okay. Let me just go back to the portal, and if I can find the document, try it, try it out, sign in. Oh my God. Okay.
It's interesting to follow.
Default switched. Yes. Hmm. Still, it is taking a lot of time, but let's give it a try. Yeah, it is here finally. Okay. Thank you so much. Now, I would thank you for bearing with me. This is just a small issue. Hopefully, we don't see or encounter it ahead. So let's just go ahead and try to look at, as I was coming to, I will finish that first. So if you want to consume that AI model, which you have created either in your Power Platform space, how you can go ahead and use it, go to the Power Automates. If you want to look at the connectors which it provides, I will just pick 1 minute. Yeah. If I just select for AI Builder here, you have to search by AI Builder and all the built-in ones. So if you can see, I will just hit document. Okay. Extract information from documents, recognize text, save file to the AI Builder feedback loop. Now, when we talk about document intelligence, which connectors which you are going to use is extract information from identity documents. Whenever you try to extract some key information, this is from the identity document. And if you are extracting information from documents, just select any one. Just give the model name. If you are probably this will be your custom one. Just custom or pre-built one. I had one which I've created, so I'm selecting that. And what will be the type of forms which are going to which your user is going to put in either in the form of either in the UI screen or you are going to upload. So you just select any one of them from here, PDF, etc., and just pick the form, select a form to process. Once you are done, you just start processing. You will get the information. This is the API which we are using behind the scenes, the exact API, Cognitive Service API of Document Intelligence. Later, it will pass the response in JSON, and then from there, you can pick all the information of the document. You can consume it in any fashion. Going back to where we were in the studio. Now, if you can see that there are some things here. This is the document. I think they are using the Contoso one. Unless and until I tag this document with what information I need, will it run? Let's see. If I run analysis, what it gives me. I haven't done anything, right? I didn't tag that, hey, this is the information, this is the key, this is the value which you have to generate. Oh, wow. It did, right? It gave me all the information back. And in the right side, what it is giving me, that is important. Amount due. I did not give the sample, this, I did not tag that, hey, this is the amount and this is the value of that amount. You did not do that. It is just giving it out of the box because it is the pre-built model. If you see the amount due, let's just hit here. If you just select, it will show where exactly it was able to find that information, the reference. So you can see this tag of amount due. This was the total amount. The billing address, see that pop up? That is the content and the confidence score. So whenever you deal with AI models, there is always one confidence score. Now you can ask me what this confidence score is. So confidence score is how well your AI was able to extract that information. And this information it will only be able to extract with the type of data it is given while training. So let's say I created the model and I passed one layout, which is this in the image. I've only trained my model with this layout. So it will give me the information from this layout exactly what I need, and the confidence score will always be 85 plus, or it can go to 99 as well in most of the cases. Let's say now if I am just processing the information and I pass some different layout altogether, it will not be able to work as likely as it is. If the layout is almost similar, like maybe the row count might have increased, or there is one new column which is added, it might give me the information. But let's say this table is not at all present, and there is just one single line, and there is a amount which is mentioned. Will it give me the exact value which I need? Or if there are multiple tables, no, it will, the confidence score will drastically be lower in those scenarios. So it is important that whenever you train this, right now it is pre-built one, so it is already trained for all this, samples which you're seeing. But if you are building the custom one, train your data set in such a manner that it accommodates all the needs. That is where a responsible AI also comes into the picture. It is not just part of document intelligence. So whenever I'm processing invoice, don't expect it to read business card. Okay. When you're processing any of the certificates, don't expect that it will read invoice. That is what it was trained for, and that is where it will give the right information. So here, as you can see, it was able to generate the correct information for almost all the fields. Now, if I hit some other sample, let's just take this one where only tables are present, and maybe we can also check whether there are multiple files, multiple page files also it is supported. If you can just zoom in, and you can see the layout was altogether totally different. Though there is a table, some information, and some values which it is extracting, but the language is totally different. Still, it was able to get me the information which I needed. Now, I don't think there are any multiple page. Okay, this is one which we can check about. And if you want to train it for your file, we'll do that quickly once this is done. Okay, so now you can see there are different sections here. One is the address section, the invoice two, the code, the description, and also there was one more section for table, which didn't look like table at all, but there is some key information. It was able to generate almost everything. Whichever you are seeing as tagged, that it got generated. Okay, now let's just upload a file, and this will be our file. Okay, now run the analysis. I'm not tagging it all. Let's see what it does. Oh, wow. Isn't it great? Because let's just go ahead and see a few things here. Has it generated all the fields? The project statement, the name, the date, receipt number, who this is tagged to, like vendor name, sold to, it has already taken the keys, customer address, customer name, the ID, the information, the subtotal, etc. I was on it able to generate almost all. But it did leave something, the sales tax. It wasn't able to capture that. Now, if I want to capture the sales tax, and also let's say if this is a yes or no, a checked or non-checked field, it will not be able to tag that. Let's just go and see whether it was able to tag this. No, it wasn't, right? Even this ID didn't, because there was no key for which it can tag to a value. Hence, this was not tagged. If I want to tag this, how you can do that? Let me just analyze options, all pages. I will just generate current range, all page, codes, language, key value. I don't want to generate. Yeah, save. Now, if you just want to, if you can see from here, the content, the result, the code, you can pick, this is the code which you can directly use it. You don't have to write custom code. This is in C Sharp and Python. You have the options available. So let's say you don't have the background of coding and you want to see how it can be integrated in the code. Pick C Sharp, copy this code or download it, and you will see all the coding with the endpoints. Just add the endpoint URL, etc., and the information which you want to generate, like total tax, subtotal. This information is right inside there. Result, this is what we are always looking for, like the response. And exact this response is what we take when in the Power Platform as well. When it gives the response, this is how we get and end up getting it in the JSON format. And what it shows, the response, I can open the notepad. It is generated one, and I will copy it. Let me open the VS Code to see what all information it will generate. Let's just pick a new JSON file, rename. Okay. Once it is done, now you see this is the so big JSON response which you have got. If I just close the pages, the tables, styles, documents, this is what it ends up generating. You will see some important information like the content, the file content which was passed, how many number of pages were there in the document. There was just, this is the whole JSON format where it was only able to find one page. And in that one page, are there any words which were able to calculate or find? Yes, there were, like contoso, etc. And the content, this is the content more like project, etc., etc. For each page, it will find so much of information, and each information, like for so and so content, it also has the confidence score. So the last confidence which you see is cumulative, like you are able to find the confidence score for each and every value it is generating. So here you see for this content, the confidence score is 0.9. For sold, it is 0.92 to all the fields. Like from the document, it has generated each and every word. It has picked up all those information. Let's just close this pages. Yeah, selection marks. So whenever you see, this is also important for you to understand. Let's go and you see the selection marks on the document. These are the selection marks. What all it was able to select on its own. We did not give the information or we did not tag it or select it on ourselves. These are the selection marks which it was able to generate or identify on its own because it is already trained. So that is the information which it is showing here, the selection marks. Lines. The each line, the page is now it has divided the page in terms of rows. So these are number of lines, etc. Tables, definitely it was able to find a table. What are the number of rows, the columns, the cells, all the information of table. Was any styling applied to it? Was it handwritten or not? So if there is any handwritten content, it will be able to pick that up as well. Closing it. Documents. So definitely we saw that there was one document which was passed and the number of fields like customer address was one, customer address recipient, customer name, all the information on the document, invoice date. This is what the final outcome which you are seeing on the screen. So behind the scenes, you see that there is a lot of work which is put in, and what you see on the screen is just very simple. You just pass on the document, you fetch, or if you want to tag it, you tag and you fetch the or extract the information. While behind the scenes, it is doing it. The model has been trained. It is generating so much of outputs, and maybe it is not just always looking at the output in terms of key value pair that hey, this is the customer name, this is the value, but also the other information when you start coding or when you start putting this into your web application or anywhere, you have to deal with different kind of information and properties like the confidence score. If you want to, let's say, generate that, hey, just check from all the four rows, what where did I spend the most amount, then that is where you have to your coding comes to the picture. But as of now, once you just the intention is to just extract the information, then it is just upload the file and get the information back. But you can do a lot of things on top of the document intelligence. Now coming back to our case, we saw the result, the content. This is the content which we fetched back, and this is the second table, one and two tables from the screen. The fields, definitely we got to know all the information from here. Now, if I want to just tag it, let me just analyze. Not sure why it is not analyzing here. I want to tag it for one document. Let's go and firstly look at the other option as well before we lose out of time. I also want to show the custom one. And in the receipts, you see that this is the drop down where you can just plug and play, or just this is the playground where you can test out all the different type of documents. These are the pre-built ones. And if you have the requirement of custom, then go back to the studio from here and just hit custom. I think I've less amount of time. So let's just go and create one custom. For custom models, you have to create a project, and this project just give a name for the project like AI demo description global AI doc intelligence, and you can just create continue. If you want to configure this, so definitely just like what we did for the other pre-built one, you have to configure this resource. It will sit somewhere. This is the API version. You can use it whichever. I will use the generally available one. And if there is some data source, now this is the important step. Here you have to pass your training data source, and the training data source will sit either in the blob storage or in some form, right? And you have to just select where the training data source resides. So right now I don't have any training data source, but let me just pick up one. I don't have any data inside this, but I will just give one sample example. Continue, create project. Go to the storage account, create a blob container, add your data source, training data source, and it will link directly to it. And it will give you the same interface which we saw. But right now it is you who will be training, who will be tagging the documents with each and every field. Here it is showing me start labeling now. I think pre-built ones don't allow me to label, but if I have custom requirement, then I can label it, and this is how the important information it will show. what you can label, like you can analyze, auto label, manual label. I can just do this. I will skip as of now. And so these are the training documents which are not correct and relevant. Let me just upload a file. Okay, this is the training one. I want to run the layout and I want to label it myself. And now using draw region, just zoom in a bit. Let's cancel this and go to the section where I want to enjoying, and I will just, okay, let's draw the region and pick up the value, select it and date, enter. What is the field type? It is the field. Now go ahead and tag all the information which you need. Now this is not definitely date. I can't select, I don't want to tag it through date. Let's just cross this. Let's see. Sorry, my bad. You have to add the field, add all the fields, your receipt number, add another field, customer or vendor name. I will just add few, subtotal, sales tax. I think there was sales tax, yeah. Field, sales tax, and field for ID, receipt ID. And now you select the receipt name, receipt number from here and just start. Now you can just plug and select. I want to select this name. What is this field tag to? The vendor name. Keep scrolling down. Okay. And I will just pick subtotal, sales tax. Oops. See, this is the field, how you can map it. I'm not just going to, you also have to make sure that you map it correctly so that that number in the future can be big, can be small. Just map it correctly so it is always able to find that information for any type of document. Total. Okay, I did not create any such field. Let's just go ahead and add the receipt number. Okay, now we are done tagging it. You can end the drawing. Once you are done with doing this, hit on train and give the model ID, model description, and the build. So model ID, I'm just going to give training, doc intelligence, same name, hit train. It will train with this type of data. I have just given one. This is not at all recommended. You have to train for more documents, at least minimum 5 to 10. Once the training is completed, you will see the status here, and then you can start using this model, and it will give me the information. Let's just wait for a couple of seconds. Till that time, if you have any question, I am ready to take, because this is the last piece which I wanted to show. Once it is done training, I'm thinking it will take some time to train. You can now test it as well. What more you can see is the model, the test. This is the this is where you will be able to test once your training is completed, and some of the settings which we made. You can update it from here as well. So this is where the custom model comes into the picture for your custom type of documents. If I go back, now I should have one custom model created as a new project for me. And what I was talking about, data source, like where your the training data sits. So let's go and check that as well before I close on storage account. In the storage account, I have created some blob containers. So I think I picked up the file upload, and these are the training documents. You can directly upload all the training sample files through which you can just tag each one of them and then let that model train and go and use it. One another important piece of information, where do you, I think I already covered that endpoint bit, my bad. So if there are any questions, please reach out to me and we will just quickly see whether it was able to train the piece or not.
Yep.
Document intelligence.
Yes, Srishti, I think session was really good. At least seeing things working right. So, and when you said endpoints, this is where you can generate and integrate your applications, right? And
Correct. Yeah.
use this. Perfect. Yeah, I think this is going to be helpful for e-commerce side of many systems, right? Or where you get a lot of invoices from
Yes.
customers.
Yes.
Any other in the corporate enterprises you see a use case here for this one?
So it is not just restricted to documents. Ideally, you also deal with different type of documents like contracts. And when you make the business, like not just contract for employee, but contract between two vendors, that is the contract template which each organization has. And you want to always check about the contract start date, end date, and send reminders on top of that. So that is also one good use case. And the information about contract, where it was made, where it is ending, the vendor information, all of that. So that is also one good scenario where organizations
Okay,
look out for creating models and using it.
got it.
Srishti, I have a question. A
Yeah,
great demo. I didn't know document intelligence was so cool. Pretty cool.
thank you.
So,
Yeah,
so you say that there was API too that we could just remotely push documents and extract things
yeah.
so that they could
No,
be
you just
downloaded.
that API will not. That API is just for create adding your code. Like it will. I can just show you what that API and how you can use it. Let me just share my screen and show you that piece of code. If you aren't aware about how to code and you don't know the starting point, then go to the document intelligence. I just came out of it.
So, are you saying
Give me a second.
remotely I can upload to Azure Document Intelligence, extract the intelligence I want, and download it too?
Yeah, you can. You can do anything with the documents. And for more functionalities of document like download, as in I didn't understand that bit. You want to
No,
download
the
the
what you want to do is once you upload the document, you want to download the insights, the questions you ask.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
what you want to do.
Okay. So you want to download the information of the document. That is what you are pointing out at.
Don't want particularly the JSON, but I just want to ask questions saying, was there a repeating charge on my credit card account
Yeah,
from
you can do
this?
all of those with coding, and that is what the studio provides a sample code for you. So I can just go
Mhm.
that show that one piece of information. So here in the code, let's just give it a minute to load. If I run the analysis, so this is the code. If you are familiar with JavaScript or C Sharp or whatever, just pick any one of them, copy it, and go to the
Mhm.
JSON. Here I'll pick one. And here you see that piece of code where it is asking the credential document analysis client. This is my client which I'm going to use, the SDK Azure AI form recognizer. And here you have to put your key and endpoint so that using this endpoint and key, it will know that, hey, there is a license or subscription or the resource already exists. Once it has this information, then the document analysis, just like here, the analysis client will pick that information from you, and here you can pass in either you are using pre-built one or custom one, and what information you are looking out. So here the results shows just the vendor, customer invoice, and few of the item related information. Using that information, you can add more code that, hey, can you just check whether this is limiting or going beyond some money or some XYZ threshold amount. Send me the reminder or send something or reminders. You have to use some different club it with different SDK to send out an email, etc. But definitely you can take that information and you can do a lot of things on top of that through code.
Got it. And did you say that in the last document, Contoso, that you uploaded,
Mhm.
did it recognize the table?
Yes, it did.
It did.
No, it will not. For custom one, I didn't train it, right? It was just training. I just passed in the Q key and values. So it was just in the training phase. It takes some time to train. So let's see whether it is done
But
training.
when you
But
had
it will not be
without,
able to, no,
okay,
it will not, because custom is custom per your requirement. It will only, it has selected. The selection marks will always be there, but the value
mm,
extraction will only be for the values which I have added as a field. So if you can see the selection marks are basically all the key or values which it finds in the document. That
I
is
got
what
it.
it is able to recognize. But if you want to get the information, create a field, tag it with a key, and extract. that information back.
But if this was uploaded not as a custom but as a regular document, then
Yeah.
in
Yes.
that case, somewhere
It
it
will.
understood it was a
Custom
table.
is custom is where you tag it with your key
Yes.
values. Pre-built is it has been trained with some set of examples, and if there is one similar or almost 70 to 80% matching layout, then it will be able to find that information. Just like I think we saw it for the pre-built one use case, it was able to get the table information as well. I can
Ca-
upload and show.
Yeah. Can you also keep this document in memory in the LLM so that I can drag it and ask questions on top of it?
Where do you want this document? Yeah, RAG. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can
Drag
do
it. So
that.
essentially, imagine there was a table of like 500 rows or
Mhm.
100, 100,000 rows. I want to keep it
Mhm.
in the RAG in LLM and ask questions saying, tell
Yeah,
me
you can do that.
last
You can club with anything. All you have to do is your training data should stay somewhere in the Azure in blob storage, and your LLM should integrate this with. See, it is not restricted that you only have to work with one AI service. You can pick any piece or any AI service, club it together. Just like I mentioned, there may be documents which are in different languages. You have to use
time.
translation service, convert it into your home language, and stack the information, and convert that information back to the language in which the original document was. That
Got
all
it.
you can take a piece of Azure AI and club it together. It is not restricted.
Got it. Good. So it's the second time I would have to push it into an LLM actually.
Yeah, yeah.
Got it. Nice.
Anything else?
Wonderful.
Thank
Yeah.
you. No problem. Okay, I think Smita, we are already on top of, or are there any questions?
Is anyone is having any questions? Sushti, I think in the chat we have a couple of questions.
Okay, let me just read through. What is the confidence score in the JSON and what exactly it represents? So I think maybe to re-elaborate, I think to reiterate, confidence score is how well your AI model is trained with, and it gives you a score back so that you identify whether this information is how close to correctness. So if your confidence score is more than 0.9, so definitely you have trained that model with similar or good amount of documents through which it was able to find the correct information. Let's say I'm searching for vendor name and it is going to give me some receipt ID. So that is mismatch, and that ideally it will never happen unless you tag it incorrectly. But the confidence score is the correctness of the value which it provides. I hope that answers. Next is if the document is digital and metadata embedded. Uh, uh, uh. Picture. If the document is digital and metadata embedded, I did not get that question.
So Ash, if you unmute yourself and ask your question.
Also, she's asking, you can detect the
Hello.
type of document. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. See, I was just asking if the document has the metadata embedded in it and it's a digital in form, right?
Yeah.
This type of intelligence is not required, right? I mean, we don't have to even scan it. And then second thing is, right, if we have to give you showed so many types of documents and other things. Why can't
See,
Azure auto detect this, right?
yeah, I think if you want to detect the type of document, then maybe you have to work with classification of documents, where you can just classify each document in a specific category, like whether this is of type invoice or this is of type contract or certificate or any kind of document it can be. So that is the classification model. And when we right now what I showcased was extracting the information. You pass in any document. Maybe I would have passed the business reader, it wouldn't show me the correct values because the document intelligence pre-built model was trained with some invoices or document, and it will only give me the response for that, not for the other type of document. For that you have to go and use that model. And if you want to have multiple different types of documents in one single model, then create the custom one and add all the different types and firstly classify it and then train it, because your model can't just go and auto classify itself, right? You have to firstly train to understand that, hey, this is the schema and this schema is for invoice, this schema is for business reader, business card reader. So that you have to do.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. I think there are no more questions. Then thank you so much everyone for listening so patiently. I hope this was helpful. Thank you, Smita and Punita community, for hosting me once again.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Srushti, for your valuable session. So, yeah, it was really very informative.